My name's T.A. Ewart, and you're going to be with me today talking about shipping internationally and making money worldwide. I'm a seller on eBay with the value books. It's a pleasure being here with you, and I hope this turns out being very fruitful for you and for everything that you want to do in the future. Some of the points that we're going to be going over today. Why do you want to ship internationally? I mean, you may be doing just fine, just great with where you are in terms of your sales domestically. Do you really want to take that particular jump across the pond and sell to other people, deal with returns, deal with unknowns? Well, we're going to address things like that. How do I build an international shipping strategy? It's not as simple as just putting it in a bag, slapping the label on, sending it overseas. You do want to be ready for things that may occur and have those contingencies in place. What do I charge for international dispatch? Again, shipping locally, you might be able just to send out a flat fee. Shipping overseas is going to be a bit trickier, but don't worry, we're going to handle that. And last and most importantly, postal services. If you're in the States, I mean, we've got great stuff in terms of the USPS, but what happens when you're shipping to Turkey? Things that you can encounter, we're going to address that as well. Now, important disclaimer, okay? This presentation and all of the information that you're going to be receiving is for sales independent of eBay. So if you're an eBay seller, that's fine, but know that the information that you're going to be receiving is primarily for those people who are going to be selling off. So anything that you're getting, keep that in mind, okay? As long as we can keep that straight, I guess we're just going to keep on moving. So why do you want to offer international shipping? Well, one out of three, that's 33%, okay, of people shop online. That's a big jump from before, but of course we know that with the onset of things like the internet, the onset of certain technologies, more people do their shopping online. It's a no-brainer. It's much easier to find something digitally online than it is to get up, walk to a store and hear that it's sold out. So savvy sellers are going to keep this in mind. Now, e-commerce sales, okay, are going to grow from 5.2 trillion, okay, in 2021 to 8.1 trillion by 2026. Okay, that's a really big jump, and you want to be a part of that. Okay, nobody wants to be buying the stock after it hits. You want to be there from the ground up, and the numbers don't lie. Okay? The average international sale is $9 more than the average domestic sale. True story. I just had a sale recently for a book that averagely sells for $35 domestically. I was able to sell it for over $100 internationally. Why? Because the person who's picking it out can't find it where they are. They're in France, they're in England, they don't have access to it, but they still would like to have this particular item. And they're willing to pay more, not just in cost, but in shipping in order to make that thing happen. And that's a better sale for me. So for these three reasons, consider international shipping. How do I build an international shipping strategy? Well, where are you going to dispatch? If you're like myself and you're going to dispatch internationally, no problem. But if you want to be selective, okay, you need to know that some countries will not accept certain items. You want to send certain books? Well, some countries have restrictions. Some countries censor their material as well. So you may not be able to send things that you have in stock or things that you normally sell here in the States abroad. Yeah? And delivery depends on service, not where you're sending it. Okay, so you want to send something to Greenland? That's fine. But, and I had to learn this the hard way, just because you're sending it to Greenland doesn't mean that it follows a particular map going across the globe. Now, I sent something to Greenland, it went from New York City, and from New York City, it then went to London, then it went to Denmark. I tracked it to Copenhagen, and after Copenhagen, it fell off the face of the earth. I had no idea where this particular package was, and then finally, it turns up in Greenland. So, what service that you're choosing is going to depend how well this thing is going to get to where it's going to go. Got to keep that in mind. Last, package theft services. Okay, if you think that people steal packages only in the United States, no. People steal packages everywhere, and you want to ensure that wherever you're sending your stuff, the person is going to receive it. Okay? Insurance, that's fine, okay, but it's better if the person honestly believes that they're going to be able to get whatever you're sending them. So you keep those particular things in mind. Familiarize yourself with the country's postal rules, okay? You make your shipping charges clear, and you're on your way. You've got a really good shipping strategy that will probably yield really good success for you at the end of the day. If you have taken the time to familiarize yourself with these particular things, another question that's going to come into mind is, well, what contingencies might I need to come up with if something goes awry? The package doesn't arrive, the package isn't there. Well, that's where you're going to be looking into your shipping services, which we're going to get into a little bit later. But a good strategy, okay, of having those contingencies in place is going to make for a better thing overall. What are you going to charge for international dispatch? Well, packaging costs are always going to be a part of it. All right, just like the box you see behind me, how much is the box going to cost? How much is the bubble wrap going to cost? And all of the papers or whatever else you're going to put there to make certain that your item arrives correctly, safely, and without damage. Okay? And then, of course, your actual dispatch charges. Okay? Does it cost $15 flat rate, $30, depending on your rate? All of this has to be factored in. Something else important for a lot of people who don't realize this, people get charged extra money for packages when they come in, depending on the value of the package, which you're asked to declare, okay, on your forms. So if a package is declared at $50 or $100, the recipient may have to pay additional monies before they can receive their item. And as was said before, in terms of insurance, the best insurance that you can have, okay, is a flat fee insurance that will cover the cost of your item and at least 20% more. Okay, so if you're sending something for $100, insurance that covers up to $120 is definitely where you want to be at. You don't have to have any worries that everything's covered, and if you did decide that you were not going to send as a gift and you were going to do duty, that covers it as well. So let's get into shipping services. First up, United States Postal Service, USPS. They are the largest postal provider in the United States. Okay? They have connections worldwide that no other postal service has in the United States. Okay? The most international cooperation, the most connections. Anytime you're looking at a package, okay, and you're wondering how it got to you all the way out there, okay, in the States, it's USPS that's behind it. They also connect to several other countries and have relationships with them that are decades long in order to make certain that those packages get there as well. And for obvious reasons, they want that reciprocity. They're also the cheapest of all the shipping service providers. So, and again, true story, when I was looking for an alternative to USPS and I checked other services, they all told me the same thing. Why don't you try USPS? They're the cheapest. So if your costs are definitely going to be of a major factor, USPS is where you want to put your money at. FedEx. FedEx is hands down the best for expedited services, not just domestically, but internationally. If you need to send a package overnight in the United States, most people wouldn't think twice about it. But let's say you need to send a package overseas from New York City to Kyoto, Japan. You want it overnight? FedEx is your service. Their reputation is impeccable. Why? Because they get it done. However, because of that, they are also the most expensive of all the services when it comes to being expedited. Now, of course, you're paying for what you're getting. They're getting it there next day, and they have a great network in order to officiate this. But you've got to be willing to pay, and if you're willing to pay, that means your buyer has to be willing to pay. In certain circumstances, yes, they want it the very next day. Most circumstances, more than likely, people could wait, and they will more than likely want to pay less. But still, hands down, best for expedited services. UPS. In the States, most trusted of all postal services. Everybody loves them. They love seeing the truck. They love seeing the guys in the brown outfits. They love the logo. everything. Nobody has a bad thing to say about UPS. Okay? Their tracking is top-notch. Every step of the way for your package, you know what is going on. From the label being created, to it being put on the truck, to the mileage that is being traveled in order to get that package to you. It's all tracked. Okay? Their delivery standards, they will put it where you tell them to put it. They allow you to tell them where exactly you would like the item delivered, being the porch, okay? Be it the backyard, okay? Be it somebody else's house in case no one's there. They offer shipment release, which means it doesn't have to have a signature. And these standards are international. Okay? So this is something to really keep in mind if you are a stickler for those type of standards. And lastly, they're an international brand as opposed to a partnership, where USPS connects with other services and partners with them in order to have it delivered. UPS has their own system internationally and is able to make those deliveries based on their own services. Okay? So definitely a place to keep in mind if you decide to do international sales. DHL. Hands down, the largest postal service in the world. They have offices, they have everything that you could imagine, and it's worldwide. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, it's every single place that you could actually imagine. Great service, and hands down, they are second to none. Their prices, extremely competitive with other services, and they're the second best when it comes to expedited service. So they may not necessarily get it there overnight as fast as FedEx, but they can still get it there quite quickly and for considerably less than you might have been expecting. Lastly, not leastly, eBay International Shipping, which is the shipping service that I use myself. eBay does something that most sellers would definitely like in terms of shipping internationally. They take the responsibility in their own hands. It's a two-stage system. Stage one, the package is shipped domestically first. So you get the package together and it's shipped to eBay's shipping hub. From the shipping hub, they handle it. It's delivered to them. Now it's going to be delivered to wherever that international location is. It's tracked and handled by eBay. Okay. So unlike myself, you're not going to be there watching and looking to see exactly where it's going to be tracked. No, eBay handles that. You'll get a tracking number and it'll be officially delivered to you once it's delivered to that particular destination that you've chosen. So if you're on eBay like myself and you do international sales such as I do, eBay International Shipping is definitely worth a look. I find it to be incredibly effective. Sorry. Some takeaways from what's been said this far. You have to crunch your numbers and decide if international sales are going to be for you. It doesn't make any sense to go into it and you're making a sale here and a sale there and you're neglecting your domestic sales. The most important thing always is going to be your bottom line. Is selling abroad going to be something that puts money into your pocket? If so, yes. But if it's just going to be for one or two sales, it's probably not something that you're going to be interested in. So you really want to look at your numbers carefully. Make your shipping rates clear for your buyers. Again, no buyers should be having second thoughts about buying from you because they realize after the sale how much it's going to be for them to be, the package to be delivered to them in their respective place. Okay? The more clarity, okay, the better your sales are going to be. And lastly, choose your postal service carefully. If you're selling off eBay, really look hard at who you have decided in order to make those particular deliveries. If you're on eBay, again, I highly recommend eBay's International Shipping Service, a good two-stage system that takes that out of your hands. I want to let you know that you are your own success. The package that you choose, the packaging, the postal service, they're not going to make you successful. It's the hard work, it's the imagination, it's the dedication and diligence that you put into what you're doing that's going to make you better than the rest. I find that the harder I work, the more successful I am. And the more successful I am, the harder I work. It tends to make me a little lucky too. Thanks again for joining me on this discussion on international sales. Please hang around for a Q&A session. Again, T.A. Ewart, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today.